Welcome back. So let's talk about Luigi Mangione. Could he get his federal charges dismissed?
Luigi, do it. And it's completely out of touch. And it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and lived experience.
So his lawyers are seeking a dismissal of his federal case, which would include that death penalty eligible count on the indictment. So he's accused of assassinating UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. We know that. And it's the federal case where the death penalty could attach, right? Not the state case. Now, in this newest motion, his defense team is arguing that prosecutors are stretching the statutes beyond their intent and engaging in a reach in order to sensationalize the killing. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to 4 different charges, weapons charge, murder through the use of a firearms charge, and 2 counts of stalking. His attorneys asked the court to dismiss the firearm-related accusation, which carries the death penalty. Will they be successful on this? Let's talk about it. Let's bring back in our Legal Eagles attorneys, Mark Begnaud and Melba Pearson. Okay, Mark, what do you think? What do you think of this motion?
I think the motion has legs. So the count that they're seeking to get dismissed is a federal count for a murder that occurs while there is also another crime of violence. And so basically it's like a murder that occurs during like an armed robbery or something like that, where you have another crime of violence that's happening and a murder occurs during that. And I haven't heard anything that suggests that there is a second crime of violence occurring. I mean, it's a murder for sure, the allegation, but was there another crime of violence occurring? And I think they've alleged stalking, and I think that's a little thin. So in my read, this motion has legs.
Oh, that's interesting to hear you say that, Marco. We know Luigi Mangione has fans. He has fans in supporters. Don't even get me started on that. But Melba Pearson, what do you think? The motion, the likelihood of success here?
Yeah, I'm with Mark on this one. I definitely think it has legs. And also, there's a whole component with regards to the search and seizure of the weapon that's at the center of this entire case. So if that gets suppressed, yeah, it's going to be a wrap for those federal charges, because, you know, the allegation is that law enforcement did not get a warrant before they searched Mangione's backpack, which is where they recovered the gun and other evidence. So if that evidence gets suppressed, this federal case is sunk. And I agree with Mark, where's the nexus, right? Because the terrorism charge got dropped. The stalking, okay, one could argue it's violent, but you can stalk someone without using any threats or violence per se. So yeah, I think the federal prosecutors are in trouble with this one.
Oh, Melba, thank you for that. And thank you for bringing up what you did about the suppression issue. So we have some brand new photos from the body camera footage taken at McDonald's, where Luigi Mangione was arrested in Pennsylvania. So these are photos we haven't yet shown here on Court TV. So take a look. These are still photographs, again, taken from the body cam. And as Melba noted, Luigi Mangione's defense team is making the argument that prosecutors should not be able to use any statements he made to law enforcement officers there at the McDonald's, where he was with his backpack, where inside a gun and ammunition were found. He said he was not given his Miranda rights. And if he wasn't given his rights, he's saying anything he said should be excluded. Oh boy, Mark Begnaud, you do issues like this all day. You practice constitutional law. That's really your wheelhouse. What do you think?
So the rules of the road here are basically, if this is a custodial interrogation, that specific language the Supreme Court has adopted, if he's in custody, if he's being interrogated, if he's being asked questions, those statements can't come in if he wasn't Mirandized first, unless, and there are some exceptions to that, like if it was just like a spontaneous utterance. And so you'd look at, you really kind of dive into the A, B, C of what happened there. You know, was he in custody? Was he handcuffed at the time? You know, was he free to leave? Are we at a point where kind of the badges of custody are in place? And then secondly, is he answering questions or is he just volunteering information? So I think that those are the 2 big questions to answer to determine, you know, kind of the strength and weakness of that motion.
Oh, a great explainer for us. Mark, thank you for that. I want to play a clip from one of Luigi Mangione's defense attorneys, well-known attorney in New York. Her name is Karen Agnifilo. Husband is Mark Agnifilo, who we saw a lot throughout his representation of Sean Diddy Combs. Let's take a look at some of what she shared. This was at a previous pretrial hearing.
I'm very concerned about my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he's entitled to a presumption of innocence.
Okay, just a little sampling from her. Melba, I want to ask you generally about this defense team. As you've been watching and following, analyzing the case since the beginning, what are your thoughts on them and the approach that they're taking here?
I'm here for it. I am here for it because they have been very methodical. They're not running around trying to be in the spotlight. They're very focused on where the government's weaknesses are and targeting and being very surgical in how they're approaching this. And I will note, she brings up a point that I keep thinking about. This case has been highly politicized, and you have very high level officials from the White House on down who get on Talk TV and keep, making statements. And of course, that makes it very difficult for this defendant to get a fair jury. It's going to be hard no matter what. But when you have people of like presidential level making these kind of statements, it's going to be really difficult to make the argument that this can be, done in a fair and impartial manner, because everyone would have heard about it and everyone will have an opinion before, coming in and hearing all the facts that end up coming out in court. So,
great analysis. Perfect note to end on. We are out of time, but big thank you to our wonderful guests, Mark Begnaud in the studio, Melba Pearson joining us remotely. Thank you two so much.